to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Hello crafters and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to make a card using products from the Love from Lizi website. The products I'm using, some of them have been released this December, as well as some stamps that have been released in earlier kits. This card is going to be a 6x6 card, and it's going to have a center panel where we'll have a die cut circle which will pop up when the card is opened. So I'm going to start now with all the products, all the measurements, etc. that you're going to need to make the card. Do please look down in the description down below. In that you will find the measurements for this card, as well as links to products and websites, etc. And if you do make this card, I'd love to see it. You can share it on the Facebook group Love from Lizi, or you can share it on the Blonde Cards and Crafts group, which is called Your Cards and Crafts. And again, links to those two groups will be down below. So what we're going to need for this card is 2 pieces of 9x6, and we need to do some scoring on those. So I'll get out my scoring tool and we'll do one at a time. This piece needs to be scored at 3 inches and at 5 inches. And we'll do the same on this one, scoring again at 3 inches and at 5 inches. We'll then fold and glue these two together. So here's the score lines on both pieces. I'm going to take one and turn it around, and it's going to sit on top like so. And we'll burnish these, and the whole thing will accordion fold into a 6x6 card base, so it'll fit in a 6x6 envelope. Okay, so we need some mats and layers, and if I leave this piece out like so, you'll be able to see where all our mats and layers are going. First of all, I have 2 pieces of, this is glitter cardstock from my stash, and it's a non-shed glitter cardstock. These 2 pieces measure 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, and we're going to put one on here, and then the other one will go on the back. We have 2 pieces measuring 3 1/2 by 5 1/2. My pattern paper will sit on the front, my white piece will sit this, and that then, as I said, will go on the back. I'll stamp a little sentiment here, and this is where we'll write our message to the recipient. I also have 2 pieces of glitter cardstock. These measure 2 3/4 by 5 3/4, and 2 pieces of patterned paper. These measure 2 1/2 by 5 1/2. And they'll sit on top there, and then they'll go on the outside panels here. And I'm not putting any behind, but you could if you want to. Then I have 2 pieces of cardstock, this glitter cardstock measuring 1 3/4 by 5 1/4, and my pattern paper measuring 1 1/2 by 5 1/2. And again, these 2 pieces will sit on here and here. I then have taken a nesting circle die cut from my stash, and this is one from Love from Lizi, which was released this December. So I've taken the largest die, and it cuts out a piece, it'll cut the circle at 5 1/2 inches diameter. So I've taken the largest one and die cut it out, and then I've taken the third one in and die cut that out in white. And you can see here I have stamped my sentiment, etc., and I'll go through that with you. Some of the other products that I have used are the dies that came in this month's release. This is the Joy Snowflake dies. I also used the Noel Snowflake dies. I've used the Merry Christmas here from the November 21 add-ons to the Oh Santa, and that's this Merry Christmas sentiment here. And I'm going to take the Let It Snow sentiment from November 22 card kit, and I'm going to stamp that on my panel at the back for our sentiment. So now you can see here that I have stamped my Merry Christmas, and I also took the little snowflake stamp here, and I just did first and second generation stamping on this piece. And I've just embellished that because our snowflakes that I have die cut, and I die cut out lots of them. You can see them here, the shadow background, and some of them is a silver metallic or a silver holographic. Some of them are die cut out then in blue colored cardstock. And I just have a whole range of those two different snowflake dies that I have here. I have lots of them here. Some of them I have put foam tape on the back, will raise them up, and some of them haven't. And I'm going to embellish this piece using the snowflakes. So we'll have them coming off the circle there a little bit, but we will need to make sure that they'll fit in our envelope. But we'll pop them on there, and then I'll cluster these ones around that. And I have one of them die cut out where I didn't put any shadow background on that at all. And it's again in holographic. The two bigger ones I'm going to add onto my panels here and here. And that's basically it. It's just a matter of assembling now. So if you have everything ready, you can assemble with me. I have all my pattern paper and white cardstock glued down now using a red double-sided tape. It's a very strong or sticky tape, and you need that when you're adhering to glitter cardstock, because sometimes using a liquid glue rather than a tape is not going to stick to your cardstock. So best to use a strong adhesive when you're adding pattern paper to a glitter cardstock. So I'm going to take my two bases now, and I'm going to fold and burnish those. So we have two score lines. We want the first one on our left to be a valley. So we'll fold that over and burnish it well. And I'll use my scoring tool to do that. And then the next one is going to be a mountain fold, and again I'll score that, and we'll do the same now with the other piece that we have. Now we can glue the two together. We can either put them over this way, and you can see there they'll join in the middle like so, or you can do it this way. And I'm going to tuck my right one underneath my left one, because that's just my preference. There's no reason or rhyme to why I've done it that way. It's just the way I prefer to do it. To do that, I'm going to use my Kalal glue, and I'm going to add my glue to this panel and then stick this one on top. So I'm happy with that now. Now we need to add our panels. So to do that, I'm just going to open it up again, and that way it'll make it easier then to add our panels on. So my glue just moved a little bit, so I'm just making sure it's in there nicely. So now we can add our 5 panels to the front. So now we have our circular piece, and this needs to just attach on here. So when you're adding glue to your circle, don't go all the way out to the edge, because you can see there it's not going to glue all the way to the edge. When this is folded into its position, you can see there it's going to sit between the two. So what I would recommend you do is when you're gluing this piece down, you have it in this position so it's closed. That way you're not going to add any extra glue onto where it's not needed to go. So I'm going to put my panel down, and the best thing to do is I like to just add a finger either side so I know not to go past there, or you can turn it around, put your panel on upside down, and then just take a pencil and put some lines there so you know not to go past, and that'll work perfectly. So I'm going to add some glue now to glue that down, and again I'm going to use my Collal glue. The Collal glue does take a little bit longer for it to set or go off or go hard or stick, whatever term you want to use. So just give it a minute before you start moving this around, etc., once it's on the card. So what I'll do is I will add my glue to this, and then I will add a little bit of weight onto the top of that. And you can rub out the pencil lines, but you won't actually see them. So I want to make sure now that when I add this on, my Merry Christmas is straight. And it's set nicely in between the two. So I'm happy with that there. And I'm going to add a little weight now onto this. I have a large stamping block, so I'm going to add that onto it and give that a minute now for the glue to take and set. So now I'm going to embellish the front of the card, and I have die cut out 2 of the larger snowflakes and 2 of the smaller snowflakes. They'll be able to embellish our side panels. And then I have all these ones here to do the front panels. So I think I'll do my side panels first, and I'm going to start with this one. The large snowflake here, it's going to sit just a little bit off the card. It'll be peeping off, but it'll still fit into our envelope. And if it doesn't fit, you can always make a bigger envelope for it. So now I've added the large snowflake to the top left, and I'm going to add my smaller one there to the bottom left. And then this one will go in the bottom right, and then the white one will go above that. And that'll be our 2 panels done. So now we just need to embellish the front of our circle piece. And I have all my lovely pieces here. And you can see here I have some foam behind this one as well as between this one. And there is foam between my white piece and my glitter cardstock, and I used a very sticky foam tapes. They're ones I got in just a cheap little shop, but they do the business with sticking this down. So again, I need to be aware where I'm putting this piece so that my pieces here don't come out too far on my card. So that'll just fit there nicely. So I can add a little bit more foam now to this because I wasn't sure where that was going to go, whether I was going to bring it down here or but I like the idea of it being here. So I'm going to add a little bit more foam tape to this piece. So while I'm adding the foam tape, I can tell you that these 2 snowflakes, they layer up beautifully. So don't forget, you can add layers to the snowflake by putting the smaller one on top of the larger one. So that's that piece there, and now it's just a matter of sticking these down. So I'm going to have one here, and then this one can go here. I'd actually bring it out a little bit. That could go under like that. So I'll add a little bit of glue to this. And now I can layer that snowflake under our focal snowflake, and I'm going to add this one down too. I love that. And then we'll be able to pop our little panel then here on the back. We just need to stamp that, and then I have the extras here. I can pop, let's see, one could go there, one could go there, and then this one could go on here. And that'll embellish the back side for us. Yeah, I'm kind of happy with that. So I need to take this panel off, and we need to stamp a sentiment on that. So let's do that next. I've stamped my sentiment down, and I'm just adding a little bit of glue to this now. And you can see there I have added down our Let It Snow, and I've done some 1st and 2nd generation stamping as well with our little snowflakes. Lovely. Now I do have this little snowflake left over, but you know what? I'm not going to pop it on to my card. I'm going to keep this and pop it on to my envelope. So that is the back of our card now, with lots of room for our sentiment. And then this is the front of our card. So it'll sit up like this on the mantelpiece. It's a really wow piece because it is so long. You know, it takes up loads on the mantelpiece. So your card will have pride of place. It'll fold in nicely like so and flatten down, and it'll go into either a bouncy envelope or a box envelope depending on the amount of bulk that you put on it. If you glue everything straight down and don't use any foam pads, this might just fit into a standard 6x6 envelope. I love this, and I think if you've taken the time to make this card, then you know what's a little extra time to make an envelope for it. So I'm going to take some pictures and add them up next so you can see the card stood up. I hope you liked this card make, this center panel pop-up card. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to call it, but it will be in the thumbnail and down in the description. If you have enjoyed my video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up, and if you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing. If not, please do click the subscribe button and hit the bell, because card 10, our final card in the Love from Lizi 10 cards 10 days 1 kit, is going to be up tomorrow, and this is another card I'm delighted with. I debated whether to have this or my last card, you know, as card 10, but card 9 and 10, I love them both. So yeah, there you go. If you make this card, please share it with us either on the Love from Lizi group or my Your Cards and Crafts Facebook group. So that's it. All the products are in the description down below, and that's it. I'll leave you with that until tomorrow, folks. Thanks for watching, and bye for now. Bye bye.